Hi everyone, so we are learning endocrinology. So, first of all, I'll be saying a clinical presentation. So, a female patient is coming with young age patient, okay, between 20 and 40 years old, and she can be associated with some disease like SLE or type 1 diabetes mellitus, Addison's disease, pernicious anemia, like that. Some other diseases, any of this you can take, okay. And she is these all are the clinical manifestations. So here you can see in the hands what happened. There is of course clubbing is there, and also you can see the digits. There is swelling is also there. Now in the skin manifestations, you can see in the shin area there is edema will be there, and here you can see this bulging of eye, proptosis is there. So all these are the, okay, so all these are the clinical manifestations. Apart from that, you get some other manifestations like diarrhea, weight loss, heat intolerance. So from all this you might have understood what we are going to learn now, that is Graves disease. So now going back to the question what we have told. So a young patient, that means in 20 to 40 years it will be occurring. 20 to 40 years, and it is an autoimmune disorder. So it can get associated with some other diseases, other autoimmune disorders like SLE, type 1 diabetes mellitus, pernicious anemia, Addison's disease. And here in Graves disease there is hyperactivity of the gland, so there will be hyperthyroidism. And remember that this is the most common cause of hyperthyroidism or thyrotoxicosis, okay. Graves disease. Now again, what are the manifestations which we have said right now? You can see this is the swelling of digits, and also there is clubbing. So this is called as thyroid acropathy. You can see this in Graves disease. Now this is pretibial myxedema. This is a non-pitting edema. You can see in the area of shin. Now here what you observe, this is proptosis. So apart from all these features, proptosis and extraocular muscle weakness can also occur. Apart from all these features, the patient can also have diarrhea, oligomenorrhea, and the patient can have increased metabolism. So the patient, there will be weight loss, there will be heat intolerance, okay, and there will be increased CVS function, like there will be increased systolic hypertension will be there, and sinus tachycardia, atrial fibrillation, and skeletal manifestations. Also she can get osteoporosis can also be there. So it can occur in male as well as female, but more incidence in females. So osteoporosis can also occur. Now another term is apathetic hyperthyroidism. So in, as just what we have told, if an elderly patient, so usually we told it can occur in 20 to 40 years. So if an elderly patient with increased skeletal and CVS manifestations, then that is, we call it as apathetic hyperthyroidism, okay. So these all are the clinical manifestations. Now just go back to the theory part. Can you name the gene which is related to this Graves disease? HLA, DR3, HLA-D3 or B8. HLA-D3 or B8 is involved here, okay. So now let's see the gross picture. You can see this is diffuse beefy red thyroid gland. Now this is the histology, what you observe here, the gland has got enlarged, isn't it? It has got bigger. So there is hypertrophy and hyperplasia of this thyroid follicle, and you can see inside the colloid. Now what you observe at the side, why there is an empty margin at the side? In everywhere you can see that. Why it is so? So in that area you do not have the colloid at the margin, isn't it? So that term is scalloping of colloid. So somebody ate the colloid at that region. Who ate that? Thyroid follicle itself have eaten that. So that side you are getting an empty margin, isn't it? So that is also a characteristics feature of histology in Graves' disease. Let's see another picture. Here you can see this scalloping of colloid. Now this is the FNAC picture of Graves' disease, and here you can see the certain areas. If you just see, you can see a pink lining is there. Here all you can see that. Okay, pink lining, and it is just like a vacuole is lined by something. So that pink lining, we say it is fire flyers, and that vacuole we say it is marginal vacuole. So it is all because of the hyperactivity of this thyroid gland. Okay, so this is the FNAC picture of Graves' disease. Now let's move on to the diagnosis. So now you are doing a blood investigation for this thyroid hormones, and you have find in this is a case of hyperthyroidism. So serum T4 will be high and serum TSH will be low. But this is not just enough to say Graves' disease. Of course, you got other manifestations like in the skin, in the eye and all. But by this blood investigation, these two markers are not enough. Why? In this condition, I mean for this parameters, in case when serum T4 is high and serum TSH is low, it can be Graves' disease, it can be thyroiditis, or it can be because the person has some kind of external hormone intake. Then also the hormone level T4 can increase, isn't it? And TSH can decrease, or in some kind of inflammation also it can happen. So for that you have to do iodine 131 uptake, and what you observe, there will be increased because of the hyperactivity of gland, there will be increased uptake. Okay, so this iodine 131, this is the distinguishing feature of Graves' disease from these two, thyroiditis and external hormone intake. Now let's also say about the treatment part. Treatment, you can give a beta blockers, non-selective beta blockers, because you have a lot of manifestations, CVS, and also you can give beta blockers, yes. Then thioamides can also be given. Okay, so what are the things we have said about the genetics related to this, the clinical manifestations, the diagnosis, the gross picture. So this is the diagnosis, this is the FNAC. Now here you can see the histology, the gross picture and the clinical manifestations. So all this you should remember. That's all. Thank you.